A traditionally produced wine depends heavily on when the fruit is harvested, which can be quite different from year to year. You have to know when the fruit is ready to harvest, and then know how to treat the fruit once it is harvested. So you could have a tremendous difference in, let's say, a 2005 Bordeaux and a 2006 Bordeaux may not taste like the same wine to you, even though it's very well produced.
So I also asked. We were talking earlier, and you neatly evaded the question. When I said if gun to head, if you had to pick of all the places you represent, what would be your favorite white wine area? And of course, you said, well, it's like my children, but that's an easy out.
It is an easy out.
So, what do you really, really like?
I love them all, but if I have to go to the top of the list, it would have to be Château Aubert-Tannery, Grand Vin Blanc from Côte de Blaye in Bordeaux.
Ooh. So that's going to be Semillon and Sauvignon Blanc?
Actually, it's 100% Sauvignon Blanc.
Really?
Fermented only in oak, stirred on its lees every 2 weeks for a year.
Old oak, new oak?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay. Wow, can't wait to taste that.
It's extraordinary. I did bring that for you to taste
today.
Cool,
that'll be great. How about red wines?
Red wines, oh wow.
A place, I'm not asking you to pick a single one. I'm talking about a geographic area.
Geographic area.
Because I know what's happening. He's afraid all of his other makers are going to say, but what about me?
It's a mood thing. I mean, it's a mood thing and a food thing. They're also vastly different. Which actually brings up a point. I don't duplicate profiles. I have one Barolo. I have one Barbera d'Alba Superiore. I have one... actually, I have two Fronsacs. But that's because they're best friends and their estates are next to each other. I have one Côte de Bourg. I have one Côte de Castillon. So I don't believe in competing with yourself. And when you find an extraordinary wine with the best expression of the terroir and that exceeds the typicity of the area, what's the point of competing with yourself?
I understand.
And that's just stretching to try and figure out which area I like best. And it really is. I mean, I love Piemonte because they're bold, rich, exciting, deep wines. I love Tuscany for a very similar reason. Bordeaux is more complex and a little softer, more elegant. So it's like if you had 4 cars to choose from to drive in the morning, you get up and say, what am I in the mood to drive today? So it's very difficult. I do have a special place, I guess, for Chateau Moulin au Laroc, 2001 vintage, which we're still selling in the marketplace.
Wow!
The care that he takes in making his wine is extraordinary.
And where's that from?
It's from Chateau Moulin. It's from Bordeaux. It's in the appellation of Fronsac.
Okay.
So love that as long as it lasts. Wine is life in a bottle. The grapes grow up, they give their life to be made into a beautiful wine, which continues to age and then gives its life for a memory that somebody makes that will last a lifetime.
Oh, that's very poetic.
That's how I feel about the wine. So we're kind of in the memory business,
Well, so if somebody wants to find your wines, they are at
King Liquor on Burnett and North Loop.
Which we love.
There's the Whip Inn.
Which we also love.
And the Beverage World right next to the Whip Inn.
Right.
They're at Wiggy's.
Well, you're hitting all the great ones.
Yeah, Wiggy's. Actually, we are the Bordeaux section at Wiggy's. And he has all 5 of our grower champagnes there.
Cool.
So
tell people what a grower champagne is real quick.
Grower champagne is champagne where the family grows the grapes as well as produces the champagne.
And they'll always have a little sign on their bottle, right?
Most of them will. There is you're talking about the difference in an RM and an NM, which is a récoltant manipulant, which means that it's a grower champagne, and a négociant manipulant, which means they buy their fruit. In the particular case of Jean Parnay, our grower champagne, it has an NM on it because of the strict interpretation of French law. The family does own the vineyards. They have always owned the vineyards for the last 4 generations. But French law says that if the winemaker doesn't have the title to the vineyards, then it's not a grower champagne.
Even though it's family.
Even though it's family.
I understand.
It does not matter.
Okay.
But on their website, they claim that they are a grower champagne. They're in Epernay, and their vineyards are in Cermenay-Logère. Very small production. They have 1.5 hectares of Grand Cru vintage grapes, which is about a 6,000 bottle a year production. We are now the #1 importer of Jean Pernay champagne in the United States.
Congratulations.
And it's Texas, LA, and New York, and we're ahead of the game.
Wow.
So.
And then you're in a bunch of restaurants too, right?
We are. We're in many, many restaurants.
Just name a few in the Austin area.
In the Austin area, we're at Chez Nou, Fonda San Miguel, Vince Young Steakhouse. We are at Sullivan's. That's where I met Virginia, was at Sullivan's, at Giacomo Vico's Wine Dinner. We are, too many. I'm starting to forget where they
I understand.
are.
There's
That's a bunch. We've had wine at Vespio.
Let me ask you. You have a website. Does that list where you sell your wines?
It does.
And what is your website?
It's worldwinediscoveries.com.
Worldwinediscoveries.com.
Yes.
So if somebody wants to find your wine, they can look there and get an idea of where it's at. That's great. That's great.
Yeah, I left one important restaurant out, our best customer, which is Justine's.
I love that place.
It is a neat place.
You've got a bunch of good ones.
Yeah.
I want to ask one more question, and this is just for our readers and listeners who are really, really obsessive about wine.
Sure.
But of course, one of the most important problems with wines is from the time it's made until the time it gets to the store shelf, it can go through some very hot and cold moments where it can really kind of cook the wine. But you go to extraordinary lengths to make sure that doesn't happen on your wines. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, again, it's about the wine for us. So we feel like the person that's going to enjoy the wine the most, the end user, the customer, whether it's picking up a bottle at a wine shop or having a bottle in a restaurant. We bring the wine, we sell the wine, and then we order the wine, and it comes directly from the cellar at the winery, whether it be in France or Italy, and at temperature. We have a temperature control, approximately, give or take a couple degrees, 58 degrees.
Perfect.
So from the source to our customer. How that happens is we send independent certified temperature sensors to our suppliers, which takes a temperature reading every 30 minutes. So when it reaches us, we know exactly what the temperature was the entire journey.
That's great.
So 45 to 60 days off the floor of the cellar. In Europe, it's in our customers' hands and ready for their customers to enjoy a quality experience.
And it's never changed temperature.
Never changed.
And for those of you out there who know your wine, you'll know how vastly important that is.